Welcome to our February IMC webinar. Today we're kind of talking about a lot of different resources for students and just kind of, they're especially online resources of places to get books and just get other things that they might need. So today we have me, Tyler Sweat, Accessible Media Specialist. And I also have Leslie and Karen, and they'll introduce themselves when we get to their pieces. Yeah, so I'm going to start and we're talking about BARD. So that's Braille audio reading download. And so I'm going to go ahead and jump over to my PowerPoint. So Braille audio reading download, it's provided by the National Library Service. And so in order to use BARD, you have to be a patron of an NLS library. So for us, Iowa Library for the Blind, if you're eligible for that, then you're eligible for BARD. And while it is provided by the National Library Service, we can handle the counts as far as password resets and other things, but that's just kind of where it lives, is through them. And so what it basically is that it's online audio and Braille books. They add new books almost every day, including audio, including Braille, magazines, and other things. And so it's a really good resource just to have access to books. So any of the books that we send out on cartridges, you should be able to get on BARD and just to download so that you can listen to them however you need to. So the two different ways that we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to show both of these, is first one's Bart Express. So this is a PC desktop application. They do not have an iOS app, and they have said, the NLS has said they don't really have plans to make one. And so what this does is that right now, if you go onto BARD's website and you sign up for an account and you do all that, you can download books onto your computer, but they're in a zip file, and then you have to unzip them and move the files around and get them onto a jump drive and then put that into your player or then put that into your refreshable Braille device. And so what Bart Express does is it really simplifies that process. It's accessible with screen readers. And then it just allows you to navigate your files a lot easier. So you can download it into Bart Express. You then can take that onto a cartridge or onto a USB drive and then take it where you need to take it. So that's just the big benefit of Bart Express. There's no listening in Bart Express. They've talked about adding that in the future, but as of now, it has not gone that far yet. The other thing about Bart Express that I really like, it's easier to search than just searching through the website. It's even easier searching than their mobile app, which they are improving on. But just so that's what the biggest benefit of downloading the Windows application for that is that it's just really easy to search. And so the other way to get BARD books would be BARD Mobile. So there's Apple and Android device. Download and listen right from the app, and you also can Bluetooth it to a refreshable Braille device to read Braille books. And so that's the really good part of that. So I'm going to go ahead and share. We're going to kind of go over some stuff now. And then, so first thing, so this is what Bart Express looks like. I got it way blown up. So kind of getting around is pretty easy. It's all accessible with screen readers. There's hotkeys for all of these things, and they do a pretty good job of showing them in help. But what I really like about this, searching is really easy. You can also search by subject or series. And they just mitigated this over to the cloud, so downloading speed should be increased as well. But just a lot of different features that have been coming out with BARD that have just made it, I think, a really just good resource. The other really nice thing about using BARD Express and BARD Mobile is that if we look at the wish list here, so if I find a book, so let's go to recently add books. If I go to, let's just go to the first one, and I go add to wish list. So one item added to the wish list. So I added this book. So now when I go onto BARD Mobile, it'll already be on my wish list. So then from a download perspective, if I'm on my computer and I find a bunch of books that I want and I want to listen to them on my phone, then I can just find them here, go to there, and then have them already in my wish list to download. So that's, I think, a really great process. And then also from here, you can manage devices. I don't have any devices plugged in, but as far as that would be downloading them onto cartridges and sort of downloading them onto players. And I'm going to share a resource that kind of goes really, today we're kind of skimming the surface of a lot of these resources. So I'll have some videos that I'll show you guys kind of where to get a hold of those. So I'm going to go ahead and stop on my computer, and then I'm going to show off BARD Express here. Okay, so go here. See if it works. Of course, you know, when everything works the first time and then it doesn't work once you want to do it live.
Of course.
It seems to be working, kind of. It's catching up from where I'm at, so you can see all the other apps I have open right now too. There we go. All right, we're in. So BARD Mobile. BARD Mobile is laid out, I think, really nicely, like BARD Express. And so we're going to go to my wish list here, and it should show that book. We're gonna test BARD today to see if it's working or not, to see if it shows up. So. And it is not showing up right now. So, but anyway, I'm going to try to see if this clicks over. So the nice thing about BARD Mobile is, you know, you can listen directly into the app, and you can also have that go into it. And unfortunately, the screen sharing is not working now. So that's a great, I don't know why it's doing that, because it was working earlier. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to go, we're just going to share my screen. So we do have BARD videos that I've made on our YouTube channel. So our YouTube channel is youtube.com/C/Iowa Department for the Blind. And on there we have a BARD playlist. And so that has how to sign up, downloading books, putting books onto thumb drives, you know, settings, basic troubleshooting for BARD Mobile, and then BARD Mobile with Braille settings. So they're just quick little videos that kind of talk about the process and just how to use all of the features of that. And you know, if we go over here to the website, you know, this is where if we go to application instructions, this is where you would sign up. And more than likely, you're going to apply for an individual. If it's for a student, institutions, that's a whole different thing. If you really want information, you can talk to me about it, but it's kind of a whole different thing. But individuals, you're going to do that. You're going to fill this out, and then we're going to approve it. And once we approve it on our end, you know, what we're approving is just making sure that you are a patron of our library. Because if you aren't, we just got to get that figured out first. And then once you get approved, you can then go ahead and start downloading books. Type of player, you can just leave it as the BARD mobile app unless you have one of these other Braille displays or Victor readers or something else that you're going to be using to listen to books on it. So that's my spiel about BARD. We're now going to jump over to Karen, and she's going to talk about her little piece here.
Okay. I'm Karen Cunningham, and I'm the Instructional Materials Center librarian here at the department. And I'm going to talk to you today about Bookshare. So I'm going to share my Bookshare presentation with you. Just some tips about Bookshare. Get a lot of questions about, you know, what is Bookshare? And we'll just start right at the top. Bookshare, it's an online accessible library for people with print disabilities. So of course, if you have a student signed up for services with the library, they would qualify. Operates under the exception to the copyright law. So under the Chafee Amendment, it allows the digital books to be made available for qualifying students. It's free, of course. And their website is, if you can go to www.bookshare.org to access. And what can my students use Bookshare for? Well, you've got a lot of choices with the file formats that they offer. You can listen to books with high quality text-to-speech voices. And you can hear and see the words highlighted on the screen if you have a student that needs to use it in that format. You can read with digital Braille, or we can even have the Braille downloaded and emboss that out in hard copy. And then we also have enlarged fonts available. The file types are DAISY, EPUB, and then they're EPUB 3 now, Word, BRF, and audio and image files Not all of them have all of the file types available. It just depends upon the particular book. And so the next question is how to get your students access. So IDB has an organizational account that we manage, and the IMC, we can add a student as a member so that we can go in and download the files that are needed. And if you need a textbook, it's especially important to, go through us to get it through the organizational account. That's the only one you can get the textbooks from. But the students may also have an individual account in addition to the organizational membership underneath us. So for the individual memberships, like I said earlier, they're free for the student, allows them to download their own books and use tools such as Bookshare web reader. And then there's reading lists that's available, which is a nice feature where you can just go in and add some books for them to read. And there is an option. So if you're going to go through us to have the individual membership set up, there's an option where we can, either send you the sign up form and have it filled out that way, or we can just send you an email. And when we use that option, it's a little easier for parents to get the kids sign up because they don't have to provide that additional proof of disability because we've already got that on file. And enrolling students, there's no charge for registration. Renew annually in the fall. We will go in and update the student's account and their grade level. And I'll show you this here in a little bit. Bookshare has a lot of video tutorials available. Got a lot of information out there for you. The computer-based reading software choices, they've got Kurzweil, Read Out Loud by Don Johnston, and that is free to Bookshare members, and Google Chrome. There are reading apps that they have available. Tablet-based would be Go Read, and there's no charge for that. If you have an iPad, there's Read to Go, which will show the images when, like I say, when those image files are available. And then there's Voice Dream. That one does not show the images. Important information. Can't get away with this without, talking about all of the rights and all of this. So it's a privileged social bargain that we have between the publishers and the authors in the disability community. So it's really important not to share these accessible media to other individuals, even if they do already qualify for Bookshare. So when we download a book, it's for that particular student, and they do have like digital fingerprints in there. So just make sure you let the students know that these are the restrictions and that it's just for their use. And there's consequences for violating the copyright, including termination. Like I say, there's digital footprints that they put in there and can track any violations. So just be careful about that. So that's that in a nutshell. And let me go to the Bookshare site and let you see what that looks like. So there's Bookshare. Like I mentioned, they have an awesome help center, but for instance, you can just go in and look if you have a particular title, author, or ISBN, you can just go in there and do a search. I'm going to search for a book I just looked for the other day for a student. And it comes up and shows you several different choices for Hidden Figures. But the one I'm interested in is this first one on the top by Margot Lee Shetterly. And so when you select the book that you want, you can read the annotation of the synopsis, gives you all the copyright information, ISBNs, publisher, all of that. And if you kind of want to know if you want to know, well, what format should I choose? Off to the right of the download button, there's the question mark. And if you go in there, it'll show you kind of what your choices are. Bookshare web reader, Daisy files, BRF files, MP3s, Daisy Audio, EPUB, and Word. We do get some Word file requests for students that have low vision and need it that way. And they have a great help center. So if you go to the help center, and kind of go down a little further below, it shows like the reading tools. So if you kind of wonder what's right for you, it'll kind of walk through each one. So we'll just go there. And it has a tool wizard, so you can show what kind of device that you want to use, and kind of walks through computer or laptop, tablet or smartphone, or assistive device technology. So those are some options there. And then if you look at Braille Central, that's another good spot to go if you're going to download Braille, because it talks about reading Braille with the Braille Ready format, and you can choose contracted or uncontracted. Now, all of these are listed in your preferences. So each student has a preference that you have to select. It's just automatically going to be Unified English Braille. But as far as like the number of cells of Braille, all of that needs to be specified in like the preferences. And it goes into what is a BRF, how to set it up on Bookshare, and like the size and the format, the Braille grade, contracted or uncontracted. And then there's reading Braille with the Daisy files. So they also have videos available on here too that are really helpful if you've got any questions. That's pretty much Bookshare in a nutshell. They say they've got a lot of information out there if you want it. So
I think Bookshare does a good job of like walking you through the different formats and kind of how to access them. So
it does. It's like just right there on their homepage. It's got a lot of information there. And it says discover more books, gives you some other choices, especially like teacher reading for the individuals. So that's it for Bookshare me.
Leslie, do we sound like robots? Because the sound was
My screen was jumping earlier, and I don't know if it's my internet connection or.
Do I sound like
You don't sound like a robot, me.
okay, good. Well, then it's just me and Leslie. That's great. All right. So Leslie, you sound fine.
Okay, good.
I think I don't know what we touched.
You
but
sound fine now, Tyler, too.
I'm not going to touch anything. We're just going to keep on going. So take it away.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Leslie Heinzler. I am the Special Services Librarian here at the library. And this afternoon, I am going to talk to you about Learning Ally. So first, I'm going to attempt to share my screen here. You never know what's going to happen. Okay, I'm assuming you're seeing it. So
yes, we're good.
This is the Learning Ally website, and Learning Ally is an organization that transcribes textbooks and other educational materials for or into audio format. And they also have an ever-increasing collection of fiction books as well, popular fiction books. So books can be downloaded directly from the Learning Ally site, and they all have human voices and not the computer-generated voices. So that is a plus of Learning Ally. Their collection is completely separate from our collection, and like I said, is comprised solely of audiobooks. This would be a great resource for students who need audio to succeed in school, for example, if they have a learning or reading disability. They must be registered with Learning Ally and have a membership to use Learning Ally services. And if the student is an active patron of our library, we will cover that cost of the annual fee for the Learning Ally membership. It is $135 per year, but like I said, we will cover that cost if the student is an active patron. And by active, I mean someone who is actively borrowing materials, we like to say at least once a year, even if you're just using BARD too, and you're not actually getting physical materials from our library and using BARD, that's okay as well. So this is their website. I would say it's pretty easy to use. You can always search for any books you're interested in up here in the search. And I will talk about the application here in a little bit. But if you want to use the application provided for you on their website, you would click join up here at the top. But honestly, I think the easiest way to do it is to get the application from our IMC blog. It'll take you right to it and you won't have to answer any other questions. And that address for the blog is idbimclibrary.org. And you can find it on that website, and I will show that here in a second. But I just did a quick search. Karen searched for Hidden Figures, so I thought I would search for Hidden Figures as well and see what pops up. So it doesn't look too different from Bookshare. Again, they're all audio. So some books will have an audio preview, like the first one listed. So by clicking on the title, you can just, you'll learn more information about the book. And I'm not logged in, so I can't download anything at the moment, but you would be able to download from over here on the right if you were logged in. So there's lots of good information there.
So if you quick question, if you download a book
ahead.
from Learning Ally, is it play like a normal audio file on your computer, or how does that work?
Yes, that's how it works. And I believe they do have an app that students use as well.
Okay, perfect.
So I am going to show you the application now. So this is the application that you'll see when you link to it from our blog. And it looks pretty similar on the website as well. It's just you have to answer a lot of questions before you get to the actual application when you're on the website. So I recommend using it from our blog, like I said. So first section, basically just student information, date of birth. Section 2 is parental or guardian information, pretty standard information. The field that says applicant's email is the email address that they will use to send the student's username and address, or student's username and password to. So make sure that's a valid email and that an email address that you will check. I believe they will send it to the parent's email address as well, but I know most information does go to the applicant's email. So section 3 is payer information and payment method. And this is the section you can leave blank. I will take care of this section if the student is a patron of our library. So I will verify that when I receive the application and then fill in that necessary information. So if we go on to section 4, so section 3 you can leave totally blank. Section 4 is the disability type and certification. So depending on the student's disability type, you would check the appropriate box. And then there is a certifier statement that is required. And so if the patron is, or the student is a patron of our library, you can go ahead and leave that blank and I'll take care of filling out that information for you. You don't have to worry about it. And most likely they are a patron of our library. And if they're not, then we can figure it out and get them to become a patron of our library. There's just another application form that will need to be filled out for our library. So again, we'll take care of the certifier statement. And there is an option too. If your student already receives items from Bookshare or is a Bookshare member, you can check that and they will confirm with each other that the student is a Bookshare member. So section 5 is the membership agreement. Basically the copyright acknowledgement, just different things that will need a signature. And this will require a parent or guardian signature. It cannot be the signature, unfortunately, of the TVI or the teacher or the paraeducator. It does need to be a parent or guardian signing this. So that's very important as well to note that. So I believe that'll take you to the end. That's just additional information, nothing else to fill out. So just make sure that signature field is completed as well. So once that application is finished and you've completed it, got all the signatures, all the information is there, you can go ahead and send that to our library, to me. You can email it, and all my contact information is on the blog as well. You can send it by US Postal Service as well. So at that point, then I will verify that the student is an active patron of our library. And if not, then we'll work together to try and figure that out. And once I've verified that, I will then send the application on to Learning Ally and the payment authorization. So at that point, if it's a new membership, Learning Ally will contact the students via that email address we talked about with their user ID and password. And that usually happens within 3 to 4 days, depending on the time of day and the day of the week and things like that. So after I send the application over to Learning Ally, it's kind of them contacting the student from that point on, and I'm kind of out of it at that point. But when it is up for renewal, the Learning Ally will send you an email saying your account is ready for renewal. And at that point, if I could ask you to contact me again, and we'll get that account renewed. I don't automatically renew accounts because I want to make sure everything is being used and everything is current and up to date. So please take care, or please contact me and I will take care of it as soon as I can. So that's kind of Learning Ally in a nutshell. I would definitely recommend heading to the IMC blog to get the application. And then you can just send it over to me via email. So that's it.
All right. Well,
here, I gotta stop share, don't I?
Yep. No, you're good. You're good.
There we go.
All right. So I think the biggest takeaway is that we do have a lot of resources that we offer besides just, our collection of books that we send out, or, Braille or audiobooks, or, there is a bunch of other things that kind of use the same sort of message of trying to get as many books out as we can, but just in different formats to fit the needs of your students. So that's why I think that's why we decided to do something like this, just to kind of always be promoting different services that we're offering at the library, just to make sure that the students are getting what they need to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. We do kind of handle the passwords and other things for those accounts. So you might have signed up, a student might have signed up a while ago and forgot everything, on those end. And so, yeah, just always feel free to reach out and we can kind of help get you on the right path. Karen and Leslie, thanks for joining me today.
Sure. Thank you.
And yeah, that's all we got. So thanks again, guys.
All right. Have a good one.
Yep.